Susan's 50th summer smelled like scorched snags from beach BBQs and desperation. Between hot flashes and lost sleep, she'd nearly tossed her favorite mug, chipped, world's okayest mom mocking her from sink, until a flyer in organic co-op chaos caught her eye. Herbal remedies for women who've stopped giving a damn. Inside that cluttered workshop, golden dandelion roots simmered in jars, vibes more comforting than a hug from a mum who remembered your name. Steam curled, carrying whispers of belonging. Susan's 50th summer smelled like scorched snags from beach BBQs and faint tang of sunscreen gone sticky. Hot flushes hit like surprise tax audits, unwelcome, relentless. She'd once juggled boardroom pitches without breaking a sweat, now, climbing stairs left her damp-palmed and muttering. That chipped blue mug, salvaged from her uni days when caffeine-fueled all-nighters, sat unused. These days, coffee made her jittery as a kookaburra in a thunderstorm. Then came Herbal Tea Workshop. Bondi's community center, wedged between yoga for beginners and ukulele jam. Susan hesitated door, half expecting patchouli vibes and whispered chants. Instead, a no-nonsense woman in Doc Martens demonstrated dandelion roots earthy magic. Think of it as a reboot button, she said, swirling golden liquid. Susan scoffed, until her first sip. Warmth spread like low tide easing over sand, gentle but insistent. Her deepest fear? Becoming irrelevant, like last season's swimsuit crumpled in a drawer. Menopause wasn't just hot flashes, it was quiet terror of fading. But that mug, now cradling dandelion tea, became a bridge. Each sip was a nod to her younger self, one who backpacked through Laos on a whim, and a wink woman she'd yet to meet. By winter, she'd host her own workshops, laughing as newcomers eyed their mugs with skeptical hope. Sydney's sun still burned, but Susan. She'd learned to bloom where she was planted, roots, wrinkles, and all. Susan's 50th summer smelled like scorched snags from beach BBQs and metallic tang of sunscreen gone rogue. Hot flashes ambushed her mid-conversation, leaving her flustered beside plates of half-eaten pavlova. One evening, after fanning herself with a take-out menu, she ducked into a dimly lit apothecary to escape heat. Shelves brimmed with jars labeled in looping cursive, chamomile, nettle, something called motherwort that sounded either medicinal or vaguely medieval. A chalkboard advertised an herbal tea workshop starting in 5 minutes. She hesitated. Her idea of self-care was microwaving yesterday's coffee. Behind counter stood Margot, a woman with silver braids and a laugh like wind chimes. She slid a chipped mug toward Susan, its surface painted with dandelions gone to seed. For uninitiated, Margot said, though woman hadn't asked. Steam curled from cup, carrying an earthy scent that made her think of childhood lawns. First sip, bitter. Second, tolerable. By third, warmth pooled in her belly, a quiet counterpoint to furnace of menopause. Margot's workshop was less lecture, more alchemy lab. She fumbled measuring dried roots, knocking over a jar of hibiscus with a clatter. Botanical confetti, Margot declared, tossing petals back in. They brewed blends for sleep, for stress, for that peculiar rage that arrived when someone chewed too loudly. But it was dandelion root, humble, stubborn, that became Susan's anchor. She learned its leaves meant resilience, how it thrived in sidewalk cracks. Her mug, once just a vessel, now held metaphor, something wild and weedy could still be useful. Weeks later, she hosted a backyard gathering, serving dandelion tea alongside lamb chops. Neighbors teased her witchy vibes, but reached for seconds. One guest, a yoga instructor with perpetually cold hands, whispered about night sweats. Woman passed her mug. No grand speeches, just steam and solidarity. Menopause hadn't softened, but Susan had. She buried her face in wind rolling off Bondi Beach, salt on her lips, dandelion's promise in her palms, not an end, but a dispersal. Seeds on breeze. Susan's 50th summer smelled like scorched snags from beach BBQs and metallic tang of sunscreen gone rogue. Sweat trickled down her spine as she glared her reflection, another hot flash turning her into a human furnace. She tried everything, yoga poses that made her feel like a pretzel, supplements that cost more than her first car, and a meditation app that just made her nap. Menopause wasn't just stealing her sleep, it was hijacking her vibes. Then came dandelion tea. Not some fancy wellness fad, but a scrappy little weed her neighbor swore by. Woman scoffed first. Weeds belonged in lawns, not mugs. But desperation had a way of making skeptics into converts. She brewed a cup, bitter and earthy, and waited for magic. Nothing. Just another letdown in a parade of them. But Creator had always been stubborn. She dug deeper, signing up for a herbal tea workshop run by a no-nonsense woman who looked like she'd wrestled a kangaroo and won. Between lessons on steeping and sourcing, Creator learned dandelion wasn't just a weed, it was a survivor. Roots pushing through concrete, petals thriving in cracks. A fighter, just like her. She started small. Morning brew in her chipped blue mug, one her kid had painted years ago. No miracles, just a slow unfurling of relief. Nights became less of a sweaty battleground, moods less like a roller coaster with broken brakes. It wasn't perfect, but neither was she. One evening, watching sun bleed into Bondi Beach, Susan raised her mug in a silent toast. Not to miracles, but to grit. To digging in when things got tough. Menopause hadn't broken her, it had just reminded her how to fight. And if a weed could thrive against odds, so could she, one stubborn sip at a time. Susan's 50th summer smelled like scorched snags from beach BBQs, but her skin burned hotter than any grill. Hot flashes hit like Sydney heat waves, unpredictable, relentless. One afternoon, clutching a chipped mug of lukewarm chamomile, she caught her reflection, wild-haired, flushed, a woman caught between tides. That's when she remembered Gran's old remedy, dandelion tea, bitter but steady. Next morning, she marched into a trendy wellness shop, elbowing past kombucha moms to grab dried dandelion roots. Cashier smirked. Menopause potion, woman shot back, nope. Lifeline. Back home, she steeped a bold brew, gulped it down like liquid courage. 30 minutes later, her shoulders unclenched for first time in months. Emboldened, she crashed a posh herbal tea workshop local community center. Instructor, a flaxen-locked skeptic, rolled eyes as Creator barged in with her stained mug and a jar of rogue dandelions. This, Creator announced, slamming mug on demo table, is what real relief looks like. Crowd tittered. She mixed her brew live, hands shaking but voice steady. Someone filmed it. By sundown, video blew up, middle-aged women cheering, skeptics stunned. Flaxen-locked instructor begrudgingly sipped, then blinked. Bloody hell. It works, woman grinned, watching her mug pass through eager hands. Sandwiched between millennials and silver-haired warriors, she thought, I finally belong here. Twist. That video hit 1 million views, turns out, half internet was secretly sweating through hot flashes too. Susan became accidental hero of hormone-free rebellion, her chipped mug now a symbol of gutsy grace. Even her husband, who'd once joked she'd lost her marbles, brought home a dandelion bouquet. For my alchemist, he muttered. She laughed, tossing roots into boiling water. 50 never tasted so sweet. Susan's 50th summer smelled like scorched snags from beach BBQs and something else, change. Hot flashes came like uninvited guests, sticky and relentless. Then she stumbled onto dandelion tea, bitter first sip, but sweet in relief. That chipped sunflower mug became her anchor, steam curling like promises. One sweltering afternoon, she signed up for a herbal tea workshop, half expecting crystal-wielding hippies. Instead, she found women clutching mismatched cups, all riding same wild hormonal surf. Susan's odd habit, stirring counterclockwise for luck, made them laugh. Soon she was guiding others, showing how dandelion roots could steady shaky vibes. Months later, her kitchen buzzed with neighbors swapping tea blends and menopause hacks. A retired teacher swore by hibiscus for night sweats. A surf instructor added lemon balm for rage days. Susan's mug, now flanked by others, symbolized what she'd learned: resilience brews stronger in company. Sydney's sunsets blazed as she sipped, watching her makeshift community grow. 50 wasn't an ending, it was a reclaiming. Hot flashes still came, but now she met them with a wink and a kettle. Steep your courage. Share cup,